Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Kongs.
And today we're going to be taking another close look at Discovery. Lots to look at, lots to talk about, lots to digest, lots to absorb, lots to do. It's lots of things to do. We got to discover the things in Discovery. So let's get right to it. We're going to talk today about Lorca's Menagerie. It's funny.
Good name. It's a good name. I wonder what the Telosians are doing right now.
I don't know, but I bet you the veins in their heads are boom, 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 boom.
So, what is this, Stuart? Tell us, remind us from the episode. What is this?
This is the last scene we see. We find out that Lorca has beamed over the creature from the Glen, has it in containment, but he's got his own little private lab, which has quite a few interesting things in it if you actually slow down and look. And we want to talk about some of those things today and kind of speculate on other things that we can't really tell for sure.
Yeah, I feel like this is an interesting... I mean, the character of Lorca is complex, and he's, to me, the epitome of an ends justify the means sort of character. And if there's a Section 31 connection, he's, more willing to break the foundations of the Federation. I mean, we've seen Admiral Ross and other people who are willing to compromise to achieve a goal, especially if the goal is stopping a war or winning a war. Do you think this room, this set of stuff, is relatively secret within the secret of the ship being itself, a top secret program?
I would say so. I think him and his chief of security or whatever her name is, I think they're the ones that know about it. I'm not sure Saru would be happy or agree with this necessarily. We might see them talking in this room at some point. It could just be a biology lab. It could be on the up and up. It could be something that's, but I have a feeling that it's more of a clandestine kind of private thing for him. That's the vibe they give us at the end of that. So it's hard to say really right now. But honestly, I can't see Saru being fine with this.
I mean, he's a cowardly creature, but he seems reasonably on the up and up,
because he's like, you can't destroy another race's property. When he thought she was going to fire at the obelisk.
Thing is, that's the question. I mean, in this lab we see a lot of different creatures now. They're bones and leftovers, as it were. But if they are implying that Lorca killed them and they're trophies, that's one thing. Or if they're more like in biology labs, universities, you have a skeleton of a person just to study. So you can take it sort of either way. Yeah. But the menace of it certainly outweighs. And I will just note, we see an interesting pull-out shot at the end, and if it is a secret room, there's a big-ass window of it and outside the hull. So anybody can just fly a shuttle and say, oh wow, Lorca's got this cool secret room. I mean, we know Section 31, if this is a ship, is bad with their security, as in Into Darkness, but to have such an obviously big window on the outside of the hull is kind of like, okay. I'm just saying, it probably isn't a secret room. It's probably it's a restricted room, just like, I mean, in the engineering room, the spores are restricted. So, and they said 300 different experiments can be happening in the ship, so I'm sure there's probably different branches of experimentation. This is just one of them, so it's locked like many others. But if you're a botanist, you don't need to be in the room with the Gorn skeleton, do you?
Yeah, exactly.
But let's break it down, Stuart. So what do we see, and it's about relevance?
Well, the first thing that we see is in the corner, like you said, there's the skeleton of the Gorn. Whether that's a real skeleton or a fake plastic manufactured skeleton, for teaching purposes, who knows? But yeah, it does add that mystery to it. Did he kill it? Did he torture it? Or is it just something that they discovered? Or I don't know.
Well, because you mentioned our full review, the Gorn is not a race that should be fully known about. I mean, where would that be in this continuity, timeline wise, with the Gorn?
Well, that depends if you believe Starfleet Battles or not. Starfleet Battles, the Federation knew about the Gorn, but in TOS, when Arena happened, they had never seen a Gorn, so Kirk he didn't even realize it was sentient. He thought it was just,
a beast of burden sort of thing.
Yeah, so does it fit? Yeah, probably to a certain select number of Starfleet that might know about the Gorn specifically, maybe have tangled with them and just, it's kind of swept under the carpet. Starfleet wants to keep it quiet or whatever. I don't know. But I don't think Gorns are generally known to the population in the the prime timeline.
At this or in the future, Kirk is just one. I mean, he's a high-end officer, one of the 12 captains of Constitution classes, but he's not a flagship officer. He's not famous at that point beyond being one of the youngest captains. Whereas Captain Lorca is in charge of a specialist ship on a specialist mission, potentially Section 31 links, and also he's given full discretion by the Federation. So his clearance. I mean, they say at one point, a message above top secret to him, and it's like, it's above top. So obviously, if there's maybe they're trying to find, the degree is stronger than us. Let's try and use that. So,
but then if you look at Inamir Darkly with the Gorn on that ship,
so do you think this canonizes that the Mirror Gorn are more dinosaurs, whereas Prime Gorn, as we see in TOS, is the bipedal? Because he's certainly not as tall as the Mirror Gorn. Because I kind of assumed it was like a semi-retcon, semi-alternate species, a different branch of it. I mean, would you rather it be the humanoid Gorn, maybe with a bit of updating, obviously, to look more real, or would you rather it be more of the, or like the JJ, version of the Gorn, the full creature? What would you rather?
Ooh, that's tough. I really liked, honestly, in the game, I really liked the JJ version of the Gorn. It was very alien, but very scary and very maneuverable and agile. But I do really like the TOS Gorn. I think that's my Gorn.
And also wouldn't be hard to modernize that.
Darkly didn't. Yeah, exactly. The one in Inamir Darkly, I just assumed was just from a different continent, different part of the planet, whatever. Just a different version of Gorn. So that's a lot of discussion on the Gorn.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, or is this a subtle reference saying that, hey, Kirk fought the Gorn and let him win. Lorca fought a Gorn, killed him, sliced his skin off and put his skeleton in his office. That's the kind of guy he is compared to Kirk.
But then the Metrons would have, if the Metrons were responsible for that fight, they would have destroyed our civilization. Unless he killed them too. Maybe Lorca's just that much of a badass.
Yeah. So that's one reference, Stuart. Now what's the one on the bottom right?
That I recognize right away as a Cardassian vole that we see on Deep Space Nine all the time. They're basically the rats that live on the station. They got like 6 or 8 legs, I can't remember what. And they show props all the time. They found this vole, and they refer to the vole hunting and the vole problems all the time on Deep Space Nine. So I just assumed it's a Cardassian vole.
But we haven't met the Cardassians yet in this part of the timeline.
Again, because the Romulans are tangling with the Cardassians in the TOS era as well, keeping their, because the Cardassians wanted to expand, the Romulans are trying to keep their borders small and keep them squashed down. It could just be a generic vole. It's just a vole.
Yeah, vole are galaxy-wide. But is this? I mean, again, these production designers are putting these things there on purpose. This is very distinct. The first 2 things you see, is this implying to the audience that this captain is going where no other captains have gone before? He's already met the Gorn. He's already won against the Gorn. He's already gone to Garcia. His exploits have taken him to this broader universe that Kirk was off exploring. He was off dealing with these major races, and not in the best way.
Yeah. It could be too, because of their spore transport, where they can go anywhere instantaneously, that he's been on the Gorn homeworld and Cardassia Lake.
But we know that their one sucks a bit, though. Their version of the drive. Only a few 100 kilometers they can go. That was their best test. And the other one is going between systems, so don't think he's fixed it quite yet. Okay, so then we have this wide open shot of the room, and I've done a digital enhancement of brightness because it just helps. So we see now 3 things on the left. I see a Klingon face skeleton, again the new Klingons with the huge. It's not a conventional Klingon, but it's a big. Although it doesn't really have ridges, but again the ridges are so integrated now that in a skeleton there might just be the bumps. So I see it as being a skeleton of a Klingon head, and I don't know what the other 2 are. What do you think, based on those 3?
Yeah, I never even really noticed the Klingon skeleton. I saw it and I didn't know what it was, but I can see it being a Klingon. That makes sense. As for the other two, they're very indistinguishable, hard to see. What the one on the middle shelf looks like it's got two really sharp fangs at the bottom, but the top doesn't look right for a skull, really. And the bottom thing looks like a really weird starfish or Freddy Krueger's glove.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. It's like, hey, why is Freddy Krueger's glove there? But,
yeah, it does look like an alien spore creature. Like you'd find in TOS. A flying or crawling creature that could be a part of the puzzle. But now we can see this entire room. It's surrounded by medical instruments, medical detectors. You've got these 2 racks of tools on these little trolleys. You've got one containment chamber, which has the new creature. And the reverse view, which you can see when he does the thing, you can see another row of life form things in tube and bottles and the door. So it's actually quite a small room, relatively speaking. We basically see everything that's in it. So is it trying to imply that he, when they need to dissect a species, they beam them in there, they kill it, and because the Vol is on a quite clearly metal, do you remember in TNG when they take Riker and they spend this whole scene building the silver desk, and it's quite a haunting scene. This reminds me of that. Is this and they've got all those little slices where the blood can drip out and not be interfering with it. They've done a good job with it not feeling totally like a madman's dissection room, but it gives me the vibe of they deal with species in this room and they dissect them and look at them, and then he puts parts of them up if he really feels like it. I mean, what's your take on that bit of spiel I just said?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like that table, we got a better view of it in the first picture, but it's got definitely got slits in it, definitely for letting the blood drain or whatever, not causing a mess. The room has a very medical feel to it, though, with all the clean lines and clean colors and just some of the equipment. You can tell it's very, whether to keep them alive or not, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a torture chamber, more or less. It's really hard to say at this point. Although I got to say that one machine on the left, right beside the door when he's facing the door, looks very similar to what they found on the Glen in the isolation room or whatever. The piece of equipment. It looked like a folded down medical, like a robotic hand or it looks similar to this kind of machinery, so I don't know if it's something medical. But anyway.
That's
interesting. Yeah, I don't know if this is a torture room or if it's actually for saving lives or if it's
I think it's torture, but I think it's experimentation room.
Yeah. Anyway, then he goes and stands at the window on the right-hand side of the room. This is interesting because when you zoom out and when you change the
brightness,
you get to see on the left there's actually a lot of weapons.
And guess what race they all belong to?
Well, not all of them.
Well,
there's a Batleth and some Mechleth.
The new dagger as well.
Yeah, even some their new guns are there. The Klingons, and then there's some swords. Looks like a samurai sword and maybe a couple samurai swords, but there's obviously human swords down on the bottom as well. So
now one little thing. And it goes back to something I'm going to say in a minute. If you look on the right-hand side next to the door, looks to be a diagram of a person. Now, it's not the creature, because that'd be a stupid way of... Now, you could sort of maybe say that's a Klingon. So as soon as I see that, and the fact that there's Klingon weapons, makes me think that he lost some stuff in this war. He is wanting to stop it. If you're going to torture or deal with a Klingon that you've stolen to do experiments on, if you're a bit of a sadistic bleeper, wouldn't you hit their own weapons against them? Cutting them with their own batleth while he's in chains. How dishonourable is that? That's really pushing the character very far further than I would want to see any Federation captain. Even further than Equinox. I mean, they happen to have a creature that died and use force fields to kill the creature. I mean, there was no sort of direct correlation there with his physical actions. But I mean, what's your take on that diagram? Because it's a very small thing, but it doesn't look like the creature they've caught.
Well, when I first looked at these pictures, I zoomed in on that and looked at it, and it doesn't look human. It doesn't look Klingon to me. It's got a very wide head, like almost like a hammerhead vibe, and its arms are way long.
Yeah.
With stubby legs, so it looks like some kind of alien creature. I couldn't make out what.
Yeah.
Could be anything, but yeah, I don't think it's a Klingon. But again, we need to see more of this room in higher resolution images.
Yeah, it's an interesting room for sure, and it certainly implies more to his character because he tries to reassure Burnham, oh, we're about the warp drive, the spore drive, that's what we're about. But as soon as we get in this room and to reveal they've taken this creature, we're going to do a video about discussing specifically what the creature is and why it is, because why I think is the most important part of that. If whatever you're doing is creating things, then you need to dissect them. But I feel like we're going to get some dark stuff in this room and some dark stuff with his character. Because why wouldn't you use all the stuff at your disposal to try and win this war,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning about him a lot more and just finding out what the hell is going on this ship.
I mean, just the simple fact that not many people have seen Klingons in 100 years. They haven't dissected a Klingon probably ever before. So if he can get his hands on a Klingon, lock him up, do some studying, wouldn't that be a hell of a valuable thing?
And the interesting
especially
thing
since
is,
they've changed genetically to look radically different in this 100 years.
I know. The thing is, in Star Trek 6, when they're on Chancellor Gorkon's ship and he gets shot, McCoy's like, I don't even know its anatomy. How can you be a doctor in Starfleet and not know a Klingon's anatomy? I hated that line so much.
Well, now we know, because they didn't deal with them for 100 years. So they were just another race. I mean, we wouldn't know Romulan. They didn't know Romulan's anatomy. We didn't even know they were Vulcans. So it's just another race that we don't know about. Even though in NX-01 they scanned a lot.
I don't buy it. You'd find a dead body or get a scan with your tricorder. You'd know what they look like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's it for the menagerie.
Yeah.
The Lorca menagerie room.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm kind of glad this scene happened because it added even more. Because that's the thing. This show is very intriguing. It leaves me wanting to know more. Obviously ignoring all the canon stuff, but hoping that they'll rectify that by the end. But it's really intriguing.
Yeah. So, guys, what do you think of this room? What do you think's in there? I mean,
what do you think it means?
Yeah, what does it all mean? Looking forward to your comments and questions down below. Please do that because we read them all and sometimes we answer back. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the channel also and like the video and just share it with anybody that you think would really enjoy it and is interested in Discovery, because I'm getting excited for Discovery. The more deeper in we get, the more excited I'm getting. So
the story is unfolding because we've been theorizing about the story for a year and a half. Every tweet we've been thinking about, and I actually get the story. And I'm sad there's so many days till the next episode. Boo. But yeah, if you want to support this show, the Trekyards and Fleet Yard show, to do more episodes about Discovery, theorizing, analysing, just talking about all these cool things, talking it through with you, and as many of you have said, like just two bros just chatting about cool stuff which you guys can relate to, then please support our channel, because we're more than just a show, we are a channel. A couple of great ways: either Patreon, which is a monthly donation service that a lot of YouTubers use. It lets you, the fans, donate directly to supporting the continuation of the show. A little bit each and every month helps, or a $20 or a $30 or even $40. It all goes towards the show and helps the show. A one-time sort of thank you donation at trekyards.com. Give a little bit, and that all goes towards our joint account, the savings that we can spend on kit and events and cool things that you'll get to enjoy later down the line.
That's right. So until next time, when we have more Discovery discussion, yes. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Coggins.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.